He was a rejected child. Mocked, beaten, cast out. And that pain would shape one of the most revolutionary military minds the world has ever known. Shaka was born around 1787, into the Zulu world of southern Africa. But from the very beginning, his life was marked by rejection. His mother, Nandi, was humiliated and cast out. Shaka was labeled illegitimate, that he grew up not in comfort, but in exile. Children mocked him. Men dismissed him. Women pitied him. That kind of childhood does something to a person. It hardens you, or it breaks you. For Shaka it did neither. It forged him. Shaka learned early that the world respected strength, not excuses. He ran faster than other boys, that he endured pain longer, that he watched closely. While others trained casually, Shaka trained obsessively. He learned how people moved, how fear spread, how discipline created power. Long before he held authority, he understood something critical. War is not about weapons, it's about control. As a young man, Shaka joined the army of the Mthethwa Confederation under Chief Dingiswayo. This was his turning point. Most warriors fought with long throwing spears. Battles were ritualistic. Deaths were limited. Shaka saw the flaws immediately. He believed war should be decisive, fast, brutal, and final. Shaka introduced a shorter stabbing spear, the ikwa. This wasn't designed for distance. It forced warriors to fight up close. Shield to shield, breath to breath. This single change transformed combat. Fear had nowhere to hide. Shaka's training methods were merciless. Warriors ran barefoot over thorns. They drilled endlessly. They learned absolute obedience. Weakness wasn't punished. It was trained out. Shaka understood something modern militaries still rely on. Discipline wins wars before battles begin. Shaka reorganized the army into age-based regiments. Every man knew his position, his duty, his consequence. No chaos, no confusion. Only precision. This system created unity stronger than blood ties. Then came the strategy that made enemies panic. The buffalo horns. The chest attacked head-on. The horns encircled the enemy. The loins waited in reserve. This wasn't brute force. It was chess. And Africa had been playing it long before Europe acknowledged it. When Dingiswayo died, Shaka seized the moment. He united fractured groups, absorbed rival clans, enforced loyalty. Not through chaos, through order. Shaka Zulu became king, not because he was born to rule, but because he earned it. Stories spread fast. Entire armies fled at the sight of Zulu regiments. Enemies surrendered without battle. Territory expanded rapidly. But power always comes with a cost. And Shaka's methods, while effective, began to isolate him. As Shaka's empire grew, so did his paranoia. Trust became rare. Mercy became weakness. Control became obsession. The same discipline that built his empire would soon threaten to destroy it. Stay with me as we dive deeper and uncover Shaka's descent into absolute control, the betrayal that ended his reign, and the legacy that still shapes warfare today. By the time Shaka Zulu stood at the height of his power, his name alone could silence entire regions. The Zulu kingdom was no longer a collection of clans, it was a military state. Every man was a soldier. Every village was strategic. Every decision revolved around strength. But absolute control has a dangerous side effect. It begins to fear loss. Shaka trusted fewer people with each passing year. Advisors were watched. Commanders were tested. Silence was interpreted as disloyalty. One mistake could mean death. Not because Shaka was cruel by nature, but because he believed fear preserved order. To him, mercy invited chaos. And chaos meant collapse. Then tragedy struck. His mother, Nandi, died. For Shaka, this was not just loss. It was devastation. She had been his only constant, the one person who never doubted him even when the world rejected him. Her death shattered something inside him. Shaka's grief turned into obsession. He ordered a period of mourning so extreme it stunned the kingdom. No crops were planted. Milk was forbidden. Celebration became a crime. Anyone who failed to show grief was executed. Thousands died, not in war but in mourning. The people obeyed. But they began to fear not just Shaka's power, they feared his instability. Shaka's closest generals began to whisper. His half-brothers Dingain and Mlangana watched carefully. They had fought beside him, they had built the kingdom with him. But they knew something had changed. The king who once led with strategy now ruled with unpredictability. And unpredictability kills empires. In 1828, the moment arrived. While Shaka was unguarded, assassins struck. Accounts differ, but the result is certain. Shaka Zulu was killed by his own brothers. The man who reshaped warfare fell not to an enemy army, but to those closest to him. He was around 41 years old. After Shaka's death, the Zulu kingdom continued. But it was never the same. His successors ruled. Battles were fought. Victories were won. Yet the brilliance, the originality, the revolutionary mind, was gone. Shaka was not just a king. He was a system. Years later, European forces would encounter the Zulu military machine. And they were stunned. These were not primitive warriors. These were disciplined regiments. Strategic formations. Psychological warfare. Even European officers admitted it. Shaka Zulu had created one of the most effective military systems of the 19th century, without gunpowder. Shaka's influence lives on in modern military doctrine. Close combat dominance. Unit discipline. Encirclement tactics. Psychological warfare. These ideas didn't originate in Europe. They came from Africa. From a man history tried to simplify, but never truly erase. It's easy to turn Shaka into a myth. A monster, a tyrant, a hero. But the truth is more human. He was a rejected child who mastered pain, a warrior who understood discipline, a ruler who feared losing what he built. And like many great figures in history, his greatest strength became his greatest weakness. Shaka Zulu didn't just change warfare. He changed how power was organized, how fear was used, how discipline shaped nations. Europe didn't fear him because he was savage. They feared him because he was effective. And effectiveness is timeless. The truth isn't that Africa had knowledge. It's that Africa had continuity. Knowledge passed down. Systems refined. Education protected. Until it became dangerous. And that's the part no textbook tells you. Because the most threatening thing to a false story is a remembered one. So when someone asks why African history feels incomplete, the answer is simple. It wasn't forgotten. It was interrupted. This is not just history. This is the truth they didn't want you to know. If you value untold Black history, hidden knowledge, and powerful storytelling, this story was meant for you. Like, share, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What other truths do you think history buried on purpose? Next, we tell the story of the warrior who refused to be conquered.